Could soon get $400 in your pocket. Democrats unveiled their gas tax rebate plan today, and you don't have to own or lease a car to qualify. Political reporter Morgan Reiner is breaking down what you need to know, joining us now live in the newsroom. Morgan.
Madison, overall, the lawmakers estimate it will cost $9 billion from the state's surplus to send out these checks. Republicans say it shouldn't stop there.
There are new arrival dates, checks are being deposited, and for many low-income households, information has been released for the IRS on the tax refund checks. The tax code was already hard to keep up with before the crisis changed the economy for good, after a few of the stimulus checks prolonged tax deadlines. Crisis-related tax breaks, it's even harder than ever to know what to expect when you file your return. So when filing taxes, you can either file itemized tax deductions or take the standard deduction for your taxpayer status, age, and disability status. Both itemized and standard deductions just lower your overall taxable income. And under normal circumstances, you can claim only one or the other. But for the tax year, Congress temporarily allowed charitable givers to itemize a certain amount of the money that they donated along with taking the standard deduction. That particular tax break will expire at the end of the year, so you won't be able to deduct charitable deductions if you take the standard deduction. The amount of tax you pay to determine is a large part of which tax bracket you fall into. People in the lowest tax bracket have a comparatively low taxable income and pay a 10% tax rate, while those in the highest have a comparatively high taxable income and pay a 3 to 7% tax rate. At the end of 2021, Congress raised the tax brackets for the 2022 year, which can mean you've now fallen into a different tax bracket than you did last year. Plus, at the end of 2021, the American Rescue Plan Act changed the parameters of who can qualify for the Earned Income Tax Credit. During the 2021 year, taxpayers had to be checking for more stimulus money. The more rigid pre-crisis Earned Income Tax Credit rules apply again. You might not even qualify for the Earned Income Credit any longer than even if you did last year. It's also important to remember that the Inflation Reduction Act passed this year and laid out a 10-year plan to bolster the chronically understaffed IRS. While the IRS has hired 4,000 new customer service reps and plans to hire $700 people in-person tax experts to cope with the tax season, many are saying it's not enough, because the IRS is at a very slow pace. According to Yahoo Finance, it would take the full 10 years to get the equipment and personnel the IRS needs to even function as quickly as it'd like to. As inflation highly saddles across America with an extra financial burden, states are also helping out one-time bonus stimulus checks. At least 20 states are currently offering one-time bonus rebates of expanded tax credits to help cope with inflation, as both Republicans and Democratic governors seek to spend on budget surpluses, mostly from crisis relief funding. Some states have already delivered the payments, while others plan to send them beginning next year. The checks come as consumers wrestle with sticker shock for the first time in a generation, although inflation has shown signs of decelerating, still hovering near the highest level in 40 years. Right now, property tax rebates are still available to New Jersey residents who owned or rented a primary home in the state. In order to qualify, homeowners cannot have a 2019 household income above $250,000, but for renters, the limit is $150,000. Individuals have until December 30th to apply for the rebate, and qualified homeowners can receive a maximum payment of at least $1,500 if you want to get it.
Witnesses, very constructive testimony. Appreciate that on the existing programs as well as the two proposed rules by the SBA. And I appreciate the testimony in regards to the Community Advantage program. It clearly is doing a better job in reaching the underserved communities and with small businesses. What is the advantage of it being made permanent? The administration did expand its reach by action earlier this year. What additional advantage would there be if this is a permanent program? Mr. Villarreal?
Thank you for the question, Senator. So the first and foremost thing is, while SBA did extend the program, at that time, I think it was 28 months, so now it's less than 2 years. And we've heard the word prudent lending go around a lot. And if you are a mission lender and see that a program has a sunset of now 22 months or 23 months, it doesn't make any sense to make that investment to become an SBA Community Advantage lender, because it takes a lot of resources to do that, and it takes time to ramp up. Even in the SBA's proposed rule change, they talked about the ramp-up period for SBLCs. So the most critical one is that it gives security to a lender in that it it knows the program is going to be around. So that's the primary one. So then it can start to build a team around that and start to build a marketing strategy to get to those. I think the other one, particularly as it's proposed, Senator, is it allows a greater guarantee for loans under 150 to 90%. And then for loans from 150 to 350 of 80%. And why is this important? A lot of the community advantage lenders are smaller lenders that can be capital restrained. So the ability to take that guarantee and sell it in the secondary market and recapitalize and get back, if you do a $100,000 loan and you get back $90,000, you can continue to recycle that money in your community. And these smaller community advantage lenders are not in that wheel of having to go out and continuously fundraise and get more money. So those are two critical things that a permanency will do, particularly the way it's written. It will allow community advantage lenders to not have to go out and fundraise as much and really make an impact in their community.
Several of you have mentioned the
Social Security wage gaps. So is your state or city sending out 4 stimulus checks? Well, I know many of you are wondering whether you can claim extra stimulus money. And here's what you have to know.
Changing, where is this going?
Well, you'll have to go over and ask that in the Senate. But we do believe that what we call the For the People Act, and now called the Freedom to Vote Act, is a bill that very much had the input of Senator Manchin.
If you're on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, RRB, or VA beneficiaries, continue watching this video to get the latest scoop on the most important stimulus check and Social Security news. Here it is, folks. Stimulus checks have definitely been a financial lifeline for many Americans during the crisis. So, it is really great to know that the relief payments are now back in multiple states across the country. Many of you are also wondering if you qualify for a new stimulus check. These are stimulus payments from state governments that have decided to take action for residents. Now, certain states like California have sent out monthly stimulus checks, and also in the Sunshine State of Florida, it has also been confirmed that they'll be sending out a payment of up to $1,100 to first responders and educators. That's including teachers and principals. If you live in Florida, you could receive an additional $2,000 stimulus check or $1,000 stimulus check, depending on your job. If you live in Georgia, you could also get $1,000 stimulus checks. If you live in Maine, you can receive up to $825, up to $285 if you are a Maine resident. And also in Maryland, Marylanders can expect to receive a check of $300. If you live in New Mexico, you can get up to $750 of a stimulus check. This is as long as you didn't qualify for federal crisis stimulus payments, all done in the past. But let's not forget this, 36 million Americans are still facing poverty, as Congress has not reinstated the expanded monthly child tax credit payments. For the last 6 months, 36 million families, folks, have been receiving these monthly checks from the IRS.
All right, you happy? Yes. All right. She ends up paying the same amount into the Social Security Trust Fund as he does. Okay, so he's paying 6.2%. She's going to pay a much smaller percentage.
If President Biden's bill is passed, families will receive a child tax credit payment this January. But the bad news is that the Build Back Better bill is still in limbo. It's hanging in the balance. It's so disappointing to see that lawmakers are not trying their best to get these relief payments reinstated. Although the child tax credit payments have temporarily stopped, grocery prices still haven't. The reality is that the payments have really helped